To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
So I had a super cool intro planned for this video, and it was going to be really dark and mysterious, like I'd be in a room hooded and shrouded in darkness, like surrounded by candles, and it was going to be really cool. But luckily for us, today is the day my computer decided to forget how to import video, so you're just stuck with me, my voice, and Space Mountain Ghost Galaxy. Now, conspiracy is a word that draws images of assassinations, espionage, and hiding things from the general public to everyone who hears it. And urban legend isn't always a phrase that invokes fear from someone who hears it. Sometimes they just think about rumors from around town and whether they are true or not. Today, in the first video I hope to make part of a series, we will discuss different conspiracy theories and urban legends surrounding the Disney parks. Disney puts forward the public image of being a very family-friendly company, and in most cases this is true. Being family-friendly to the point Disney is, and seemingly having no point to it, is bound to raise a few eyebrows. Today we delve deep into the paranormal side of Disney, and I'm not necessarily talking just the Haunted Mansion. Today we will be discussing a number of different spirits that have been sighted at the Disney parks. Now, I made a video a long time ago about ghosts that have been sighted at the Disney parks, but I feel like I should do it again with more research and more production value. How that video managed to get 500,000 views, I will never know. So today, everybody join me as we call in the spirits wherever they're at and uncover the truth behind ghost sightings at Disneyland. Disneyland being such a popular theme park and being such an old theme park in Anaheim, California, means it is the perfect breeding ground for urban legends made up by people who live in the city and visit the park often. We start today at the spookiest land in the park, and the place where people's minds go when they think about ghosts at Disneyland. The Haunted Mansion opened on August 9th of 1969, and has been inspiring ghost stories ever since. Since the attraction itself opened in 1969, people have been spreading the idea that the house itself is actually haunted. This, of course, is not true at all. Or maybe it is. Scott M. Leonard tells the story of a woman who came to Disneyland with the ashes of her little boy who always loved the Haunted Mansion. She tried to get permission to scatter his ashes in the attraction, but of course Disney wouldn't allow it. Why would they allow that? Why? But, of course, she did it anyway, adding his remains to the dust in the mansion. Uh-oh, pro tip alert from Offhand Disney coming in hot. Don't do this. Disney will just vacuum the ashes up at the end of the day. This is just a waste of everybody's time and of your relatives' remains. And no, Disney doesn't give you the ashes back. They just throw them in the trash, and that trash goes to the dump. Anyway, back to the story. Ever since that day, cast members and guests have claimed to see a young boy near the exit lift, sitting by the speed ramps and crying. He's probably crying because he's sad his ashes are now sitting in the Anaheim City dump, instead of being scattered or buried in a place that's not a public theme park. So everybody, whenever you're exiting the Haunted Mansion on the exit ramp looking at little Leota, I want you to play this part of the video. Hopefully the little boy will hear this. Don't play it on the attraction. Let people enjoy the Haunted Mansion. This is on the exit ramp up, okay? Don't ruin other people's attraction experience. Hey there, young crying boy. I'm sorry for what happened to you. It's all your mom's fault. But if you want to haunt a different attraction, may I suggest the Incredicoaster? You see, young man, the Incredicoaster is the epitome of Disney Imagineering, and might I say, the best attraction at Disney. Oh. The exit ramp is done? You're outside? Okay. Well, I guess that took a little too long, but I hope I got the message along to him. Continuing on in the reading, another ghost inhabits the mansion. Near the unload area, there is a mirror so the cast member can see if anyone comes down the speed ramp. Once a cast member saw a figure that they thought was in the butler or maid costume. They thought this cast member was coming to relieve them of their position so that the cast member currently working the exit ramp could move on to a different location. But after the cast member turned around, there was nobody in the doom buggy. After a few more guests unloaded, the cast member saw the figure for the second time. This time she noticed he was wearing a tuxedo, and he walked up right behind her. The specter then tried to talk, but no sound was heard, and placed his hand on her shoulder. Feeling a chill, she turned around to once again see an empty hallway. Completely freaked out as any sane person would be, she took off running out of the mansion. She quit shortly afterward. Now, being the prestigious Disney journalist I am, having written for approximately 0 Disney publications. I did the research and found absolutely no evidence of any woman spreading her son's ashes in the Haunted Mansion, so this is most likely an urban legend. But as Disney employees have said in the past, people do spread their family members' ashes in the mansion. Again, they just vacuum it up and throw it away at the end of the day. But just because the Haunted Mansion may not be haunted, doesn't mean it's not creepy. It is from here where we part ways with New Orleans Square and journey towards Tomorrowland. Just because the land revolves around the idealistic future doesn't mean it doesn't carry memories from the past. You see, there's a legend at Disneyland having to do with Space Mountain's Mr. One-Way. Next time you ride single rider at Space Mountain, look to your right or to your left if you're in the right seat, and look for a man with a red face and reddish hair. Your partner for this voyage through outer space may not be who you think, or what you think. You see, Space Mountain at Disneyland in Anaheim is infamous for having its very own resident ghost. That ghost's name is Mr. One-Way. The haunt's name is not like Mr. Red or the Red Space Traveler or something that would make a whole lot more sense because he's described as a red man with red hair. But I digress. Unfortunately, I'm not in charge of naming the Disneyland ghosts. Mr. One-Way is said to be the ghost of a man who died while riding Space Mountain and continues to ride Space Mountain until Judgment Day. After doing my research, I can safely say that no man has ever died on Space Mountain at Disneyland. One woman has died because of Space Mountain in the past due to heart conditions, but she did not die on Space Mountain. She died at the hospital. So, and this is the part of the video that you play while you're standing in line for Space Mountain so Mr. One-Way can hear me. Listen, man, you gotta get a better origin story. I mean, I did the research and none of this stuff lines up, so Mr. One-Way, if you're out there, just come up with a better origin story and check in with us, okay? You're doing a great job. Apparently, after he boards the rocket with guests, he rides through the ride normally, but then by the time you reach the final tunnel, the man next to you disappears. You come out of the ending tunnel extremely confused, knowing you started the ride seeing somebody with red hair and a red face sitting next to you. I mean, it's kind of odd that you said subconsciously, wow, that guy has a really red face, but I mean, I'm not here to judge. Apparently, there's another version of Mr. One-Way, a version 2.0, if you will, who haunts the queue of the attraction dressed as a young man from the 70s. The more you speak with this version 2.0.0 of Mr. One-Way, the more you start to realize that this guy's probably not from our time. You ask the man, hey, are you excited for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge? And he says, what's Star Wars? You brush that off thinking he's just a weirdo, because of course everybody's excited for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. You then ask, hey, what do you think of the new Pixar Pier expansion for California Adventure? The man then says, what's Pixar? And what's a California Adventure? It is at this point that you realize you've actually been speaking to a ghost this whole time. A possible explanation for the shaky origin story regarding Mr. One-Way is that he was an Imagineer working on Space Mountain and died during construction before it was actually opened. After the Imagineer died, Disney didn't want to delay the opening to Space Mountain, so instead they just covered up his death, and it was like the Imagineer never existed. Ah, no conspiracy video is complete without the large corporation covers up their misdeeds cliche. That one's just a staple. Now, again, I found no evidence to support this claim, but of course I didn't. Now, I'd be very interested to see what you guys think of these ghost stories. Do you believe them? Do you think they're fact or fiction? And did I miss any ghosts that you know about that haunt Disneyland? Now, again, thankfully, this is the first episode in a brand new series I'm hoping to start. So, if I did miss any ghosts, please make sure to leave them down in the comments and I will try to get to them in a later episode. I think the spookiest part about this whole thing is that all of these stories may very well be true. So next time you're riding the Haunted Mansion or Space Mountain, turn to the person next to you, make sure they don't have a red face or red hair, and offer them a sip of your mint julep or a bite of your churro because they've been there for a long time and they're probably hungry. And then you throw those snacks away when you realize you're not supposed to eat on the attractions. Hello everybody, thank you so much for watching this spooky video on ghosts that inhabit Disneyland Park. The very first entry in a new series I'm hoping on starting, an untitled series as of yet, but I like the title Disney Conspiracies and Urban Legends, or Disney Urban Legends and Conspiracies, maybe with whichever order. If you guys enjoyed this, please make sure to leave a like on this video and hit that subscribe button if you're new around here and like this kind of content. Disney parks, not just Disneyland covered. And I'm hoping in the future to expand the ghosts and urban legends to other parks, not just Disneyland. Always remember that you guys can follow me over on Twitter if you want some more insights into my creative process, or just my channel, or just some funny jokes that I like to post over there sometimes. Also, don't forget that if you would like to and you really enjoy this channel and its content and want to support me in any more additional ways, you can go over to my Patreon. Patreon patrons get early access to video audio, not the entire video, just a little snippet, because then why would they watch the video? I'm not talking like 1 or 2 second snippets, I'm talking like 4 or 5 minutes, so it's a good amount of the video. Also remember that I do have Offhand Disney merch available at my Spreadshirt store. The link in the description will lead you over there. And remember that I have an Offhand Disney subreddit and Discord for all of your Offhand Disney discussion needs. The subreddit is not super active, but the Discord is always active. So if you guys would like to extend and enhance your Offhand Disney experience, you guys can head over there. It's completely free and you can participate in some sweet discussions. As always, everybody, I gotta thank you all so much again for watching this video, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Goodbye.